Right, so we are back. So we're now moved, so it's a bit more comfortable for me and for the dogs. So I'm going to have a quick show of what the Dremel looks like. So I've got it plugged in now. As you can see, the dog's getting very excited. So when I turn it on, just so you can hear what it sounds like, as you can see, not bothering, not stressing them out whatsoever, but that's what it sounds like, okay? Yeah, I know, it's very exciting, isn't it? Excuse Merlin's bottom, it's always got his camera. So just to show you close up on this camera, that's what we're looking at. Okay, good boy, aren't you? Now, I do a lot of reinforcing of everything that I do with my dogs. So I'm going to reinforce the fact that he just sat there when I did that, because I'm pleased with it. Now I also use a higher level treat for this. So for the grooming I was using just good quality kibble. When I do nails, I tend to use something higher value like cheese or sausages, cut into small pieces, but just because I don't want them moving, I want them to be still, so there's less likely the chance that I'm going to actually injure them at all as they move. So hopefully I can show you with Merlin without too much body being in the way, but I've got two cameras set up so I can do two angles hopefully, and the idea is I just want to show you what it looks like basically and how I would do the interchanging of treating and utilising. So I'm going to use my snuffle mat just because then I can be talking and not having to worry, what are you up to? Not having to worry quite so much about what else I'm doing. Piece for you, you cheeky monkey. So let's pop that here. So what I'm going to try and have a look at are so I'm literally just taking off a very small amount of each paw as I'm going along. I'll just turn that off while I'm talking. So I'm taking off a small amount as I go along. So I'm just putting this to the paw as it's held upside down. So I'm going to be taking a bit off the very tip. I'm going to take a bit off the back and off the side slightly. So I end up with a very rounded looking claw. And I'll do that to all of them. And then what I tend to do is have a closer look and just check how they're all looking. Check how he is when he's standing on the table. Do I need to do any more at all? And basically work from there. Let's put a few more bits in place. Good boy. Oh, don't sit on it. Ripley, do you want to do it? Ripley on there then. So I've got Ripley with me to show you what this should look like, hopefully. So it's whether she pays attention to me or the food. Hopefully she'll ignore me and just pay attention. No, man it off please. So, good girl. So hopefully you can either see or hear. I have a small amount as I go along. So I'm just putting this to the paw as it's held upside down. So I'm going to be taking a bit off the very tip. I'm going to take a bit off the back and off the side slightly. So I end up with a very rounded looking claw. And I'll do that to all of them. And then what I tend to do is have a closer look and just check how they're all looking. Check how he is when he's standing on the table. Do I need to do any more at all? And basically work from there. Okay, so you can literally do all of the paws, all the claws on each paw and do all four paws in the matter of a few minutes, and you're just taking off a very small amount. You don't need to go mad with it, especially if a dog's getting used to it. So what I'd be doing if I was getting my dog used to this is maybe turning it on and doing some stuff. So maybe having little games, showing him that actually the noise is fine. I might be playing with toys, having a quick game while the noise is going on in the background. What's this? Yay, he's a very clever boy. Yes, he is. I might move it around a bit. I might ask for paw. Merlin? Paw? Good paw. Good paw. Yes, good boy. So we can get used to me holding it and holding the paw at the same time. I might then move on a stage, Melon, a bit far, and just get him used to it being close up, and then drop it down again. So I'm gradually going to build it up in very small increments. You're a very good boy, aren't you? Yes, you are. In very small amounts, and just get him used to it, or get her used to it, I'm feeding the camera, to get them used to the noise of it, the smell of it, everything else, because there's so much stimulus going on for dogs, hold on you, that you don't want to overbear in one go, do we? No, we don't, and take it very slowly. See how they feel. I mean, this is a small table with a non-slip mat on it. They might be happier on the sofa, they might be happier on your lap. So often we'll have the dogs upside down in our laps. If there's two of us here, and so one's giving them a fuss and one's doing the dremeling, just so we're both taking part really. But when on my own, it's slightly easier to be on a table, so I can see what I'm doing. And we are keeping it small, okay? So I would normally get pretty much all the paws done in one go. If I felt that actually one needed a bit more than the rest, then I might come back to that in a couple of days. Just because I want to give him a rest from it really. I don't again want to overwhelm him and make him not enjoy it. So you're wagging your tail at me. And also you've got to remember you are having to kind of pull them into weird positions to get to the claws. So I don't want to then tire out muscles or make him uncomfortable. So it's just doing it little and often and getting used to it. If you're using the clippers, then it's exactly the same sort of thing. So I'll just quickly grab those that I had them. So with the clippers, it's the same idea. Cue mass exodus of dogs because there's clippers on the scene. So exactly the same idea with clippers. Obviously helping your dog out so that you can get the claw in there like this. And just basically, that's the only time you hear a noise is when you're cutting the claw and just taking a piece of that claw off like so. So again, I tend to prefer using the method of treating him like a horse and lifting the paw up from underneath. Good boy. They're quite short already actually, I don't need to do a huge amount to them. But that's what we're looking for. Okay, and you can see the snuffle mat keeps him busy one end while I'm worrying about what the other end's doing. You coming up, Rippers? Come up if you want, baby. But you know, take your time. You've got as long as you need really for this. You don't have to rush into it. You don't have to make your dogs sort of get used to it in a day or so. They can get used to it in whatever amount of time you want them to, really, can't you? Hey, good girl, good girl. Now so tiny by comparison, aren't they? Hey, they are tiny. They are tiny. So you can see there in the nail. And a little tiny little clip. All right, good girl, yes you are. And a nice bit of cheese at the end. Yes, we do. And then we have a bit of cheese there. Let's have a look at this one. Can't get to it. Let's have that one because I can't see. I take so long sometimes. Good girl. That's why I like the Dremel. My hand-eye coordination is appalling. So we'll just stick this one. There's one on white now, look. Stick that on there. Okay, good girl. Because as you do this, what tends to happen is we do hold the paw slightly tighter without realising. But as I said before, as this is cutting down on the nail, it's going to put pressure on the paw and the nail as well. And that's what they start getting the idea of. And that's then when they start going, no, I don't want you to do that. So getting used to you, putting a bit of pressure, we would, you know, get them used to them. Yes, good boy. We would sort of, they don't make a lot of noise, these ones. Do they? They don't. Oh, good boy. That's nice. Get them used to them. We'd get them used to us holding onto a paw. Well in. Paw. Good boy. That's very clever. And just gradually building it up there. Okay, where's your upper paw? Oh, good boy. There's a good lad. Paw. Good boy. So getting used to that, then you'd get them used to paw. Touching the paw, good boy. And also putting in a tiny bit of pressure. So, paw, where's that for? A little bit of pressure. And there. Okay, so I'm squeezing the paw, which is absolutely fine. So it's just little and often and making sure that they're happy with it. So if I had a dog that was really fearful, and I'd worked on a few sessions of just letting them see this and letting them sort of do targets with it and things like that, probably closed, and building up positive association. So when I took them out, they went, oh, we have fun with those. And I got to the point of what I've just done with Merlin, which was having a paw and just tapping the paw and putting a bit of pressure on the paw, on the foot itself. I'm not going to go any further with that. That's all I'm going to do. I'm then going to maybe go back a step the next time and just introduce them to having them there. And then maybe the time after that, the third one along, I might then try seeing if I can maybe clip a claw, or seeing if I can do another paw, or putting the pressure on. Can I have this paw? You can't see it now, you've gone too far. Good boy. Good, yes, good boy. And building it up like that. Okay, so hopefully you can sort of see how it all builds up and get to the point of actually then clipping the claw itself. And when you're clipping the claw itself, you want to keep things really, 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 really calm and steady. So there's no one best way of doing it. Clippers can be a much nicer way of doing it, because it's literally pick them up and off you go. But a lot of dogs have bad experiences with them because they do have bleeding and stuff, which then obviously means they have bad association, whereas less bleeding happens with the Dremel. But then the Dremel, you'd also want to be careful that you're not going to catch claws or anything, or catch them anywhere else, because obviously it's a high-speed bit of sandpaper, so it's going to cause a bit of discomfort if you get it wrong. But take your time with it, help your dogs out, praise them for what they're doing, give them an out. If they want to get off, let them get off, okay? Because you don't know if they've got other discomfort going on somewhere which will be contributing to it. So at one point, Merlin moved away, I've left him to it. He did the same thing on the table when I was looking at feet and things, so that makes me think that maybe one of his knees is a little bit sore today. So I'm not going to push it, and then the next time I ask him to do this, he'll be absolutely fine. So I tend to read my dogs. I know my dogs well. I know if something's upsetting them or not. And I want them to come back, so I let him go, he's then come back, and we've carried on, and I've worked with what he's telling me. All right, so have a try with that. We are going to have another section in a second looking at teeth brushing. I just want to give my dogs a quick toilet break after all this, and then we're going to come back with teeth brushing.